Hey, in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can have $0 and actually start investing in real estate and grow wealth. You're watching TMBRMAN TV. So if you're watching this video and you're a hard worker, you're a tradesman, and you've been taught you can only buy what you can afford and only the rich people can invest in real estate, well, this video is going to totally negate that attitude and show you that you can invest in real estate literally with $0. I wish I learned this stuff earlier on. I would have been investing in real estate as young as 18 years old. But I'm 32 at the time of filming this video, and I'm glad that I have what I have in real estate, and I'm continuing to invest in real estate. And a lot of deals I'm doing with $0 still. So Nate, how can you do that? Well, let's dive into it so that you can start implementing this today. The biggest misconception with real estate is that you have to have all the money and it's very expensive to acquire real estate, let alone one property, having several properties. And although it's not false that, yeah, real estate is expensive, there's loopholes and ways that you can leverage as an investor that allows you to obtain these properties without any of your own money. So let's dive into exactly how you can do this, and I'll give you an example of how I'm doing this and my very first deal. So a few years back, I was searching the MLS and looking for distressed properties, and I found one that I could get under contract for a certain price point. Now, getting a property under contract is free. It doesn't cost anything to do that. However, actually closing on that property does cost money. If you're going to get conventional financing or a hard money loan, well, you have to come to the table with some sort of down payment. As of right now, there is no programs that just give you a property for free. You have to have something in collateral, whether it's money or other assets, to actually get a property funded in your name. And in this case, I didn't have the money to put down. I think it was like $37,000 to put down, and I didn't have it. But what did I have? And this is the number one point that I'm going to give you, is I had a deal. Now, if you have a deal that's secured in your name, meaning you have it under contract, you will have people with money wanting to partner with you on that deal. That is not going to be hard by any means. The hardest part is getting that deal. So by me having that deal under contract, I was able to bring in a joint venture partner, a JV, who brought all the capital that I needed. He funded that down payment, and I used $0 and flipped my very first property and actually made a profit using nothing. All right, so let's talk about my life personally. I've been a carpenter, I've been a contractor for several years now, and I never thought that I could get into real estate investing. I thought it was just for people that were way smarter than me, for people that had way more money than me, and that's not the case. I'm not the smartest guy, and I don't have a ton of money, but what I have now is this knowledge on how to invest, how to get involved, how to put myself out there and utilize the tools that we have free, which are social media, Facebook groups. You can go online and look for properties. These are free tools that we can use, that you can use to actually get started in real estate investing. And that's what I started to do. So I bought my first property, and then I bought another property. I JV'd on a flip. I JV'd on another flip. I bought another rental, and I'm continuing to JV and partner with people and building portfolios out, and it's just snowballed into this amazing thing through investing. Again, coming from nothing, coming from a mentality that thought, I don't think I could do this. I don't think this is for me, because I'm just a tradesman. I'm just a blue collar guy, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. So if you're a blue collar person, you're a tradesman, you're just a 9-to-5 worker, that's great. Guess what? You can also be a real estate investor. So you may be watching this and say, okay, that sounds great and dandy, Nate, good for you, but you're not me, and I'm the one watching this because I want to start investing. I almost flipped my plane over there. I want to start investing. I want to actually start making money. I don't care about hearing all about your stories. Tell me what I need to do right now. Well, I want to give you some ideas on where you can find these deals, because it is not easy finding deals, and that's why investors with money will throw money at you, because most of the legwork is actually in finding the deals. You see, investors that have money already, they have it easy. They just give money to different investors who are doing all the running around, all the project management, all the rehab, all the research and finding these properties, and they're growing their money with doing basically nothing, just throwing it at these other investors that are doing all the work. So if you're that person starting out, it is work. There's a lot of legwork involved, and you can find properties in a couple different ways. So let me give you an idea of where you can find these properties. The very first and easiest place that you can find a property is just online on Redfin, on Zillow, anything that's listed on the MLS. So if you want to work with a real estate agent, you can, or just go online and start looking for properties that are distressed, properties that are discounted. At the time of filming this, it's end of November 2022, and interest rates are the highest they've been in years, and home prices are leveling off and dropping. So with where interest rates are at now, you could definitely get investment properties even at more of a discount than you could before. So the easiest place again to start is just online on Redfin, on Realtor.com, on Zillow, anything that's listed on the MLS, and find properties that are distressed. Reach out, ask them if they'll accept a certain dollar amount. If so, then that's great, get it under contract. So let me give you a couple other places that you can find these properties. The second place you can find these properties is through investment websites like PropStream or Batch Leads. Personally, I've used both, and what they allow you to do is research any property and do something called skip tracing, where you can get someone's email, you can get their phone number, and basically you can do a much better analysis on a property that is distressed. Check when they bought it, what their mortgage is, maybe shoot them an email or a text, make sure they're not on the do not call list before you do that. However, this is just another aspect of researching properties that maybe you wouldn't have that information on the MLS, and these are off market. So if you see something that's distressed and you want more information, you want to call on them and say, hey, would you accept an offer on this house? Well, that's another way that you can do it. And the third way, which probably takes the most work but can be very effective, is called driving for dollars, where literally you drive around neighborhoods, or maybe you're just out and about and you see a distressed property and you actually go door knock it. Go up to it and say, hey, I notice your property is distressed. Would you take an offer on it? And a lot of people that live in distressed homes may have different scenarios with a loved one that passed away, or they're in rough financial hardship, and sometimes they'll actually take an offer. Or if you don't want to knock on their door, you can leave something on their doorstep, or leave a note, a handwritten note on their door, and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you about buying this property. So there are a couple ways that you can find these properties, but this all leads back to the biggest thing when it comes to investing in real estate with $0 is actually finding the deal and getting that deal under contract in your name. Now, once you have a property under contract that's in your name, you can go on a Facebook investor groups and tell people about what you have under contract and say, hey, I'm looking to JV with someone to do this flip, to do this rehab project that has this much dollar amount in profit. And that's where you need to understand and know your numbers and do your research, which I'll do another video on how you do that. But as you look at properties to get under contract, you have to know what you're buying it for, how much the rehab is going to cost within a certain range, and what the ARV is, the after repair value, meaning, hey, when I fix this property up, this is going to be what it's worth, and this is what we can sell it for. Now, once you have those numbers, you can take those to other investors, say, hey, this is the deal that I have. Who wants to make this money with me? Let's say you have $40,000 in profit at the end of your flip. You can take that to investors and say, hey, who wants to split this with me? We'll each make 20 grand. Remember, you have the deal and they have the money. So it's much easier for them to say, hey, I'll fund that with you. I'll split that 50-50 with you. And you're the one that spent this much and you're going to make 20 grand as an example. Now, that's just on the fix and flip side. You can also get a property under contract for a discounted price and do something that's called wholesaling. Now, wholesaling is just assigning the contract to one of these other investors, but charging them a fee. So let's say you got a property under contract for $100,000, but the ARV is like $350,000. It's insane. You could sell that contract to an investor for, let's say, $110,000, and that investor would still make a great profit on this flip. However, you just made $10,000 assigning that contract to another investor. And that's called wholesaling. And this is the easiest way, in my opinion, to make real estate. There's a lot of competition right now. A lot of people are doing it. However, it doesn't matter. If you have a deal, again, that's the hardest thing, is getting the deal. If you have a deal, you have money to be made. Whether you want to actually fix and flip it yourself, whether you want to do it with a JV investor, or whether you want to wholesale the deal, if you have a deal, you're going to make money. So let me give you a real life example of a wholesale deal that I did not too long ago that made me $25,000. $25,000. I was sitting in Starbucks. This is a true story. I was sitting in Starbucks and I was actually studying for my loan license. And I just hopped on Zillow, I believe, and I just looked at some properties that were hitting the market. And I came across this duplex over in Idaho Falls, Idaho. And I said, hey, this property doesn't look too bad. And the price they were asking, I believe it was like $220 at the time. It's like, that's actually a good deal. Even at $220, I'm gonna call on this. So I called the agent. I said, hey, tell me about this property. Lo and behold, it was distressed. It's an older duplex, needs a lot of work. So I ended up locking it up under contract. I did the inspection on it. A lot more needed to be done than I even thought. And I ended up offering him from $220 down to $140. So I offered way less and they took it. They wanted to get rid of this property. Again, this is just some other investor's property that he doesn't want to deal with it anymore and needed a lot of work. So he took my $140. I ended up reaching out to other investors and I ended up selling it in less than a week for $25,000 more than what I had it under contract for. And all I did was sit on my computer and then make an offer. I didn't really have to do much. So in terms of labor-wise, wholesaling definitely is the easiest way to make money using $0. And that's what I mean by getting a deal. I found a deal, I got it under contract, and guess what? I was able to make money. And I was thrilled to make $25,000. But that's not always the case. Sometimes even making $5,000 on a wholesale is great. But the point is, again, you can make money. You, right now, watching, you can make money going and finding deals and getting them under contract. So I want to play devil's advocate because you're probably watching this and saying, man, this sounds way too good to be true. And I know if it's too good to be true, then there's a catch for sure. And you might be saying, well, Nate, what if I get a property under contract and I don't find an investor? Well, that's fine. You still have a contingency period. Typically it's 5 to 10 days and you can literally back out for any reason. So I will say this, once you find a deal, you do want to find someone to partner with you or to JV or to wholesale relatively quickly within that 5 day period. Another thing you might be saying to yourself is, okay, I understand I can go and find a deal online and call the agent and make an offer. And if I do get that property under contract, where are these investors? Where do I find these people? And that's a great question. And the very first thing I would tell you to do, because you probably have Facebook, is go on your Facebook, go to groups, type in your local real estate investing group, and that's where you want to post. Any investor group is a great place to get involved, be a part of, and you can start posting the deals that you have and start looking for JVs. That's what I do right now. I'm still involved in several different investor groups on Facebook, and that's where I get deals and that's where I partner with other people on their deals. So here's the thing, you have no excuse and you can't say that you can't be a real estate investor or that you don't have the money to be a real estate investor, because that's just simply not true. You just don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you don't have the willpower to actually get started. So let's change that. Remember, real estate works when you work it. Let's recap how you can do this. The very first thing you want to do is go on the MLS, the multiple listing service. Go to Redfin, go to Zillow, go to realtor.com and see what's on the market and look for distressed properties that need to be fixed up, that need rehabbed. Or you can go drive around and look for properties that physically you can tell, man, this is a POS and I bet you I can get some sort of offer on the table to get this property under contract. Or you can go on websites like Batch Leads or PropStream that are meant for investors to actually do all that without driving around. So these are 3 ways that you can get properties. And remember, the biggest thing to take away from this entire video, if it's the only thing, is getting the deal. The deal is everything. People have money and they'll throw money at you if you have the deal. If you don't have the deal, you don't have anything. So get the deal, look for a deal, and then get into your Facebook groups, reach out to people like me or anyone else that you know that's in real estate investing and say, hey, I have a deal. Would you partner with me on it? Or would you buy it off me as a wholesale deal? Or who do you know that would? Where could you point me in the right direction? Again, real estate investors is a big community that love to help each other out. You have no excuse. I want you to get started right now. If you have more questions, leave a comment below. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You're watching TMBRMAN TV. We'll see you next time.